Oh, this thing better impress me. What's going on, guys? Carter here with Edge Mindset. We've got an unboxing for you. We're going to be using this really cool chub from Chavez Knives here to open this up. But yeah, this thing has some chops to... Wait, what am I trying to say? This thing has some big shoes to fill. No, this thing... I don't know. It's got a lot to prove. Okay, that's what I mean. This one, collaboration of the year, 2024 Blade Show. Ketuo Buckhorn collaboration with Ken Onion from, well, actually, it's not Ketuo. It's Karbon, which I think is a subsidiary of Ketuo. Yeah, I don't know. It gets kind of confusing. But yeah, let's see if this thing is actually cool. Nice box. It's got a cool, like, kind of a velvety feel to it. And it causes cancer. So, you know, win. Microfiber cloth, per usual. Here is the information. Model Buckhorn, Ken Onion designer, who is a staple in the knife community. If you don't know, I'm sure you do, but if you don't know, S35VN steel. Kind of a cool little card here. Can I get in it? How does this? Oh, wow. It's like fully sealed. Anyways, I'll mess with that later. Let's get on to the knife. This is the Buckhorn collaboration of the year. Something about this one spoke to me, just the design of it. I mean, Ken Onion knows what he is doing, and this thing has a lot going on. Look at all the different textures. This is kind of one of those, let me try that again. That is some snappy action. I can already tell you one thing that I don't absolutely love about this knife. We'll talk about it here in a minute, but there is something I kind of noticed right off the bat, but not a big deal, just a personal pet peeve. This kind of reminds me of, what was it? It was a Chinese knife I have called the Infinite Grievance, right? Where it almost seemed like it was a knife meant to show off all of the manufacturing capabilities of that particular company, because it just jammed like everything into it. This kind of feels almost similar, just not as extreme. Blade is pretty benign. Bead blasted, it looks like, but it's kind of a polished bead blast, which is nice. It'll help corrosion resistance, things like that. But when we're looking at the handle here, we've got all kinds of textured milling. That looks really, really cool. Look at how you see those cubes pop out of there. You can feel that. So it's not just like a light laser engraving. That's actually, I assume that's got to be milled in there, just like everything else. Very, very cool. Got pinstriping texture right here milled in. You got more of the cubes right there. Same thing on this side. Frame lock, lock bar insert. Oh, there's Ken Onion right there. Really, really cool. Deep carry pocket clip on this, or at least relatively deep for a milled titanium pocket clip. That's pretty cool. You've got the cubes on the pocket clip as well. Backspacer, that's a nice touch. Adds a little bit of class. Lanyard hole. I mean, if you're into that thing. Lots going on. Lots of details on this particular knife. The action, though, is superb. Lockup is bank vault. Not a single wiggle. Not a flex. Not a slide. And I just stabbed myself with the tip of this thing, which, by the way, is an interesting tip. It's kind of like a straight back, and then it has this abrupt downturn right there, which is very, very cool. Feels like it is flat ground. Perfect thickness. Thick enough to be stout, but thin enough to give you some good sliceability. I mean, it's not like paper thin behind the edge, but yeah, not really a slicer, especially up towards the tip here. You can see the distal taper, how it gets thicker back here and thinner here. It feels good. It feels balanced. As you run your fingers up here, it doesn't feel like it gets that much thicker at the tip, actually. So, done really well. Flipping action's good. I don't think I like this gold right there, and it's supposed to look like a shotgun shell, you know, kind of the brass of the shotgun shell. I don't know. It kind of bugged me from the very beginning when I saw this knife. Didn't really care for this pop of color. I may take that off. I may remove the anodization on the pivot collar as well as the screw there. We'll have to see. I don't know. I got to spend some time with it. Let's try. Ooh, the thumb studs work well. So it's got like that tapered or stepped up thumb stud right there, which is pretty cool. Can't really Can't really do it. I was wondering if you could actually put your thumb on the flat and kind of open it up. It doesn't really work. You've really got to kind of get it over here and hit that edge in order to flick it open. Let's do a weight real quick, and we'll do a size comparison. Not really a review, but 4.4 ounces, so very, very light for how big this is. Let's compare it to Paramilitary 3. Butts to nuts. A little bit bigger. So pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. Now the thing that I don't love about it, it's not actually that pivot color. I mean, I don't care much for it. I don't know if I love the relief cutout for disengaging the lock. Maybe I just got to get used to it. At first, it just kind of felt like there wasn't that much space in there. This is locking up really good at, what, 30%-ish or so. But this is so thin because of the chamfering over here that they couldn't really put much inside. And it just, gosh, does it even sit proud? I feel like it barely sits proud. So that's just more of a confidence thing. Like I feel like my thumb is just barely getting in there to disengage. Now that might just be a me thing. You know, you might not have that, but I don't know. It just seems kind of slim in there for disengaging that lock bar. I haven't had it not, you know, I haven't failed disengaging it, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Do you guys get that at all? So like, if you compare it to just this random knife right here, see how there's just more space going on in there? It just makes me feel more confident with unlocking that knife. Now, you can't really do a full comparison because this is much thicker blade stock, and that gives you just more space to deal with. But I almost feel like maybe if they didn't chamfer this side and instead switch that chamfering to inside, but then you wouldn't have this nice symmetrical thing going on, because a lot of symmetry on this. Basically, it's a mirror copy of each side. That's really cool. Even this chamfering here, it's all mirrored on the other side. Everything except for this relief cutout. It would have been cool to have put that on the inside, because then it would have even more closely matched, right? And you know what else would have been cool? Is if they could have incorporated the lock bar cutout on like a curve so that it actually followed this seam, and then it would really look cool on both sides. I mean, obviously you'd have to modify the pattern here. It wouldn't be just a direct, you know, you couldn't just do that. But I just mean, Ken Onion, if you're listening, think about it. Think about it. It would be cool to do a real like symmetrical look where you could even mill out a line right here. You know, obviously not connect all the way, but mill out like a line right here to, you know, this would have to move up here. Mill out the line right here, and then on this side it would be the exact same, but it would be the actual lock bar cutout. And the only difference between the two, if you put the relief on the inside, would be just this one line that connects over. Cool. Think about it, Ken Onion. Get back to me. Let's make this happen. Let's make this symmetrical knife happen. What do you guys think about that gold? I'm really thinking if I keep this, I am going to pop that off. I don't know, man. Gold is not really my color, and for some reason on this, it just kind of bugs me. Maybe it looks too much like a shotgun shell, and it just kind of seems odd. Because to me, and one of the things, okay, we're going to go off on a tangent here with Ken Onion, that I've always found very interesting, is he carries and dresses like a country boy, right? Cowboy hats. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he hunts and fishes, but he wears camo and he looks like a country boy, country guy. But his designs are very out there, very organic, very alien-like at times. This one isn't even that wild for him. Some of his older stuff he did like in the 2000s, early 2000s, really, really out there kind of wild designs. And I remember when I saw his stuff on Zero Tolerance first, I believe is where I first saw his kind of designed stuff, I thought he was going to be like this gothic-y, arty type guy. And I saw him and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Ken Onion? So it is kind of interesting. And you see that here, right? Like the knife does not speak to me like a hunting knife or a, you know, you're going to go out and shoot some birds And so you get the Ken Onion knife. Not that it couldn't do that. I'm just saying visually and design-wise, it doesn't hit me with that. But then you've got this shotgun shell right there in the middle in the pivot. So kind of an interesting dichotomy with Ken Onion that I feel maybe represents his personality as a whole. But very cool knife, very cool collaboration. The price on this thing is disgusting. $275 shipped from a retailer. Like, you know, and I know that's a lot of money, right? Don't get me wrong. I know that's a good chunk of change. I'm just saying, for what you're getting, the craftsmanship, all of this milling, like, and you know, this might not be your style and that's cool, but you can't deny, like, this is machining time right here, design time. There's a lot going on this knife. There's not an ounce of titanium that hasn't been machined on this thing. I mean, look at the curves. Like, not only does it curve in the 2D plane, well, I mean, it's all 2D, but you know what I mean? In the silhouette, you've got all these curves here, but it also does it here. It shrinks here, it swells in the middle, like it's very organic and flowy. This whole thing has been machined, all this titanium, and then you've got patterns on top of it. So pretty crazy at that price. Clearly, I think this company is trying to make a splash, right? Karbon is trying to make a splash, and they're probably doing it, you know, at a loss. They're probably taking a hit on this particular knife because they're wanting to get their name out there. They're wanting to get people excited about the knife, and so they're offering more than you would typically see at this price point. That would be my guess, but I don't know. What do I know? All right, guys, comment down below. What do you think of this collaboration of the year, Karbon Buckshot? Buckshot? Is that what it's called? Buckhorn. Buckshot. Buckhorn. What do you guys think of this? Let me know. Comment down below. And as always, thank you. Wouldn't do this without you. Appreciate you. Talk to you later.